present this award this evening. So, for two reasons I have to be brief tonight. First of all, I've yet to see the time clock police back there that are going to cut me off if I'm 5 minutes or 5 seconds over my time limit, but there he is. But secondly, tonight's recipient, Mark Bailey, is truly a humble man who does not relish at all having the spotlight on him or being recognized. I can attest to that because I started about 2 years ago asking Mark if he had a resume because I thought he was a good candidate for the Max Stuber Award. So I saw him about 15 different times and I said, Mark, where's the resume? Oh, I'll get it to you, I'll get it to you. And it went on and on and on until finally I threatened him. I said, Mark, if I don't get that resume, I'm going to call your wife Doris. And if I have to call Doris, it's not going to end well.
She's second.
But anyway, I had to call Doris. So Doris, thank you for taking care of that on behalf of Mark. This evening, Mark is here with his family. And Mark, I'm sure you'll attest to who's here. But more importantly, Mark, here's the funny thing. Your older brother Bill was here. Now I'm going to tell you why that's funny. By the way, if you remember Coatesville basketball in the early 70s, Bill Bailey was known as Super Sub. He was the sixth man. Today is Shippensburg University's alumni day. And for Bill to miss the Shippensburg Alumni Day, to be here for you, that's quite an honor. So let me very quickly tell you a little bit about Mark. Mark has spent many hours working with the youth of Coatesville, coaching baseball, basketball, football, at the Brandywine YMCA, the Coatesville Community Center, the Coatesville Midget Football League, and the Coatesville Little League Baseball for over 35 years. Now let's be honest with each other. About 90% of the people that coach Little League and coach youth sports do it because they have a son or daughter involved. Mark, I'm sure at some point in time your children were involved, but they weren't involved for 35 years. So you say to yourself, well, this is the Coatesville High School Sports Hall of Fame. So what does that have to do with the Coatesville High School Sports Hall of Fame? Well, I'm going to tell you what it does. He instilled hard work and he instilled work ethic in those young people. And Mark was no nonsense. Some people like it, some people don't. He was no nonsense. So by the time those young men got to the high school, they already knew how it was supposed to be. Right, Mark? Mark has served as an assistant basketball coach at Coatesville High School for 30 years. How many head coaches, Mark? We can't even count. So many. But at the end of the day, when the basketball coaching staff was put together, Mark Bailey was somewhere. He was either the 9th grade coach, the JV coach, and at some point I remember somebody telling me as the high school principal that he was going to be the varsity assistant. John Allen, I think that was you. But Mark didn't relish that role. Because I think Mark wanted to be with his 9th graders. Because he instilled everything that I just told you in those 9th graders. So by the time they got to the varsity, they knew what was expected of them. From 7 o'clock a.m. practices on a Saturday, whatever it may be, he instilled that work ethic in them. And I can tell you as a high school principal, stop, Greg. I can tell you as a high school principal, I never had to worry about whether Mark Bailey's student athletes were academically eligible or in some kind of trouble. all I had to say when they entered my office was, do I need to call Coach Bailey? And that was the end of it. That was the end of it. So Mark, this is a well-deserved award, and we are happy and very proud for what you have done in Coatesville High School and the Coatesville community. So ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the 2024 Max Stuber Award winner, Mark Bailey.
I appreciate you introducing me, and because he did such a wonderful job, I won't have to be at the podium. But I do thank all of you who entrusted your children in my care, and coaching actually is a love affair. And coaching young men and women has always kept me right. And I appreciate the kids who have come under my tutelage. And it's with great appreciation now that I'm assisting one of those kids in John Allen. And Richard Hicks. And it's just fun for me. To me, it's the fountain of youth. People want to look at the fountain of youth. The fountain of youth is helping the youth and helping the older people. And before I go on, I just want to thank my family, my brothers, Bill, Dennis, Bruce, my wife, Doris, my cousin Cora, my sister Sandy, Ty, Jason, my kids, Shayna, Spoony. And I would ask all my family, just stand up so in case I miss somebody. This is a privilege that I will cherish. I could probably name some folks that are in this room, Mr. Rody, Earl Johnson, and others who have worked with me out in the field. I appreciate everything you guys do for Coatesville High School sports. I just wish I would have been good enough to maybe get into all the things. I wasn't that good. But being an athlete, what I did learn is from Mr. Kershey and others. I learned Mr. Chuck Carroll, Mr. Rody. I learned basketball, I learned discipline, and I learned how to coach. Because when you're on the scout team, you learn what the other teams are going to do, and you have to make your team better. So I appreciated that role, and I appreciate all of you, and I thank you for this honor. Thank you.